Okay, so this is going to be a pretty quick video. Relatively quick, I guess. I have been actually looking for the Japanese alt art Liliana. And I don't want to just go blowing, 60 to 100 bucks, how much ever it is now, on just one card. When I can have the joy of spending a little bit more than that and seeing what I can find. I really enjoy opening up those packs, so let's go ahead and take a look at these and get started. We have the box of the Japanese War the Spark that I ordered, and the second box they accidentally sent me when I ordered the first one. So I got two boxes for the price of one. I believe it was like $140 at the time that I ordered these. I know it's fluctuated since then. I've been sitting on them for a little while, trying to decide when I was actually going to break into them, and I think this is as good a time as any. So let's go ahead. I'm just going to move these and see what we can find. So we're all familiar with War of the Spark. We've probably all watched a dozen videos or opened a dozen packs ourselves. We know all the commons. We know what's going on with them. So I'm going to kind of speed through. I want to see what that Planeswalker is. I want to know what alt art Planeswalkers I can get. Or what foils, what rares, if there's any specially valuable rares or something like that. I'm not going to really spend a lot of time on it in general. Just going to see what we can get. I'm after those. The alternate art Planeswalkers. Maybe out of two boxes I can complete the set, which would be kind of awesome. Doubtful. We all know it's doubtful. I'm not deluding myself here. But out of two boxes, getting one Liliana is all I am asking. Anything beyond one Liliana, and I will have an amazing time. I wouldn't mind. Some of the other ones, the other mythic ones, that are just as rare, or maybe, hey, I'd be happier if I got a foil alt art Liliana, if that's even a thing. I don't even know if they did that, but that's now in my head. Also, I won't lie, I don't read Japanese, so remembering what the text on all the cards says isn't going to happen, so going over any of them wouldn't really have a purpose. It would just kind of be like, yeah, okay, whatever. That's nice. Okay, so let's get started. I did notice, though, there's only 3 arts for the Japanese versions. That's something I was noticing the other day when I was looking at stuff about them. Also, they are packaged a lot looser. Like, all of this is extra space. Stuff slides around. All of this, they all come with these hang tags on them. There's just a lot of extra to them. Okay, well, right out of the gate, we have a Planeswalker, but not an alt art. Alright. Well, let's just pile up our Planeswalkers anyway. And our rare is the sky thing that makes angels when it flies away. That thing, that I'm talking about. Alright, and we got that. This one is turned around too. We have a Teferi. Not an alt art, but definitely a rare Planeswalker. Teferi. But the Japanese is still worth a little bit of money with that one as well. I don't think they banned him yet. He still seems to be king of the decks, doing his thing out there. It's really funny, during the pre-release, people kind of avoided using him. I knew a couple of people who drew Teferis, and they just couldn't see the immediate value in his abilities other than boomeranging. Turns out his abilities were kind of awesome. And I don't recognize that mythic card. If anybody else does, feel free to let me know what it is. I'll probably look it up myself here in a minute. Well, by in a minute, I mean in a minute or two after I end this video, because that's what we are going for. So far, no alt art Planeswalkers. not that far into it per se, but we do have 2 mythics so far. Oh, and there's an alt art planeswalker. Love him. Love his alt art a little bit more. What do we got? Yep. These anime alt art planeswalkers, they've kind of excited me since they first showed up on the interwebs, teasing about, hey, look at this, really expensive to get it in America. Oh, there's Vivian, just a regular Vivian. Actually, the planeswalkers coming out of here haven't been too bad so far. I'd take that in a draft. So I know Liliana seems to be kind of the cliche. But part of what got me back into Magic after I was gone for so long was actually the ad with Liliana, watching her do that whole battle against the Elder Dragon there. And Gideon's sacrifice and all of that. It made me really kind of like her out of the gate. And so then I went back and started paying attention and looking at who Liliana was. That's a little weird. Okay. Oh, there's an alt art. That is creepy. That is some Hellraiser alternate art right there. Because I can never remember the names of anybody, I cheat sheeted myself. So with that one, we are looking at Ashiok. That's the name of that one. That is the alt art for Ashiok, which is kind of obvious when you look at them side by side and everything. And of course, our other friend over there is Jiang Yangu? Jiang. I don't know. I know he's one of the younger planeswalkers. Kind of discovered his powers later on. Like the Shield Mage. Theo, the Shield Mage? Theo the Shield Mage. Later on, and I don't know how big of a part he has in the story, but he is one of my favorite planeswalkers right there. Next to, of course, as I was talking about, Liliana. Again, started looking at her, seeing what I could find out about her, and her whole story kind of fascinated me. The villain to hero kind of arc that they gave her, where she started out just trying to get power, trying to be the Elder, trying to destroy everything to get that power, and in the end sacrificed herself to stop it. Even though Gideon came in and stole her sacrifice in the end, she still sacrificed herself. She still made that decision to do the right thing. And she's just a strong, badass female necromancer. She kind of reminds me of the Sorceress Queen from back in the day. I'm sure there's some connection that could be made there. I haven't read anything about a connection, but the old Sorceress Queen kind of had that same look to her, kind of had the same feel. Maybe it is the same and I missed something. And well, that's a nice... Is that the alt art? Does anybody remember off the top of their head if that's the alt art? No. That's the regular art. The alt art would be animated. Okay. Not looking at all that, because we all know what is in Spark. We all know all the cards. No foils yet. A little disappointed. Foils are good to have. A few rares. What am I doing besides mixing everything up? These go here because they're planeswalkers. We do have mythics. We got the 2 mythics out of the gate. Hopefully that's not the end of the mythics. I did stack the boxes, so I'm going to try going down in order so we can kind of tell when they change. I believe it should be about there. Sorry, I got a little overzealous here, so we'll see. We'll do average of 2 boxes for figuring out if I got my money's worth. Okay, well, it's a foil. It's not an amazing foil, but it's a foil. There we go. Here's some alt art. That is... don't tell me, don't tell me. Or go ahead and tell me because I'm not remembering off the top of my head. Of course, this is Nahiri that I got right there. The lovely little do damage to me. I hit you back, Nahiri. No, she's the creatures that first strike. I'm sorry. This is Narset. Lovely Narset is the new alt art planeswalker I got there. So far all uncommon alt arts, none of the rares. But we have a lot to go. Let's see what we get. There's Citadel. There's no planeswalker. Oh, he's right there under my thumb, because he's alt art. I'm sorry. And that, of course, is what's his demon self. But... Oh, Nixilus? Obnixilus? Yes, the Demon Lord himself. And what do we have? So, I mean, I know Spark at this point, sorry, I'm trying to open stuff off screen. Gotta move into shot. I know Spark has been, ooh, well, there's Gideon. Is that the regular? Or is that the... That's the regular art. So, we got a mythic. Gideon. Can't complain there. But like I was saying, Spark is a little bit older. We know Spark is older. Everybody's kind of went through it. It actually got a lot of play compared to some of these other sets. I mean, 20 was only down for, what, a month and a half before Eldrin came out. But Spark lasted a while, and people seemed to really be into it when it left. My game store teased that it was going to continue doing Spark drafts. It also teased that it was going to do Modern Horizon drafts because people were interested, and then they just never set them up, and people kept asking. Is what it is. I wish they'd bring it back. I wish they would, or do options, like see if people wanted to do half drafts of War of the Spark, and the other half do simply whatever the current modern one is, or standard, I should say, that just came out. Or do mixes. Roll the dice and see what packs from, how many packs from what sets come out. We have a bunch in standard right now, and it would be really fun to see what would happen if we started mixing packs like that. I think we'd get a lot more draft fun play. I think more people would show up if the drafts were a little more random. I just rambled the same sentence like 4 times even. That shows how I feel about it. So, let's see what we got in here. So far, still not what I'm looking for. I would love... Well, there we go. That's pretty rare. That is the Spark Mage. Off the top of my head, his name would be... Does anybody remember? It's dual color, Spark Mage. Does some stuff. And I am totally failing you right now. because apparently he's not on my cheat sheet. Well, that's just weird. Is that his regular photo? Is that all that's... That might be his regular photo then. You guys can correct me. I'm more than happy to be corrected. But from what... Oh, no, I just found... That's Ral. That is Ral's alt art. Now that I see the real thing. This page I have, for some reason, put all of the dual colors at the bottom except Ral, who got placed up above. Of course. That's the luck. Well, there we go. We have Ral, very nice Planeswalker, alternate art, rare. Not the one I'm going for. Still not Liliana. I would also accept a Najani at this point. Najani was another favorite of mine. That's probably just because he is a gorgeous, large kitty. I think it's pretty amazing that they just included a gorgeous, large kitty into this. Okay, and that is just a regular Planeswalker. Nothing special. Part of me always wants to go through the packs, like, did they double up my rare somehow? Is there a mistake pack? Is there, like, a Holy Grail pack of all rares? And I say that because supposedly, once upon a time, it may have possibly happened, and that is obviously Chandra's alternate art. I don't even have to look at a cheat sheet to recognize Chandra. Ooh, she's awesome. I mean, just see her throwing Dragon Slave out there if you're familiar with any of the animes. And a camera that doesn't like to focus. Let's try wiggling everything and making it focus. Anyway, that's the alt art of her. Chandra is a fun one. I think she has one of the most in-depth stories, next to Jace. Of course, she's probably been around as long as him from what I can tell. But her whole being taken as a kid, with a wild magic of fire, and being trained to control it, but having to use the apparatus, and then not seeing the apparatus in play until 20. 20 actually put her control apparatus in play. There is another alt art. She is the one who enjoys all the artifacts. That is Shahili, from the Invention Town when Ether Revolt was involved. And I know that because I watched the long promo for it recently. And that's where she came from. Well, according to the promo that I watched. I could be wrong. It is always possible. Again, gone for 20 years. 20 years is a long time to be away from a fandom and expect to remember anything. And, okay. I am guessing this is Mr. Super Friends himself. Yep, that is Sharkan, the Masterless. Really cool. That is awesome. We got a Chandra and we got a Sharkan. Nothing to complain about so far, except not getting a Liliana. Who wasn't putting Liliana in these packs? Everybody deserves a Liliana. But we have a ways to go. We are almost through the first box. And I do believe that is just his regular art. Yeah, just his regular art. Yeah, nothing amazing there. These are a lot of cards. I have no clue what I am going to do with 2 boxes worth of Japanese print War the Spark cards. If anybody's interested in them, drop me a note. I'll definitely get back to you about that. Pretty much, I just want to keep these, or at least one copy of each if I get 2 copies of any of them. That's what I was after with this. My War of the Spark collection is mostly set. I have been collecting that one for a while now, since War of the Spark came out. Even opened a couple boxes before I decided to start actually opening them with you guys. Oh, she's my favorite Firestarter. We all know her name, right? Jaya? Yes, that is Jaya. The old Firestarter. Oh, God, I love her. Apparently I like a lot of the Planeswalkers. She interests me the most, even though I know the least about her as far as the backstories or where they came from. I'm sorry, I forget that my camera actually has a limit to how long I'm allowed to record for. So we just interrupted, just talking about Jaya's backstory, the fact that I don't actually know it that well. And, ooh, that is a shiny mythic. We got foiled mythic right there. Again, if you have any interest in any of these cards, let me know. They're all in Japanese, but we do have a shiny mythic right there in Japanese. Sure, we can work something out. If not, I'll probably poke around. I know there's a couple Facebook groups that I'm part of that get interested in stuff. See if anybody there would be interested in actually acquiring Japanese versions of the cards. If not, I'll figure it out. Ooh, there's the alt art too. With the other new Planeswalker, young and new. His spark developed out of nowhere, I believe the story goes. Nobody saw it coming, and he just became a shield maker. And his shields protected me many times during drafts. I did enjoy them greatly. He said awkwardly. So, looking at its background, storylines, and everything like that, I really did miss the stories. I missed everything that happened. I understand the concept that the Planeswalkers came around. Jace kind of followed Nicol Bolas, who instigated a lot of stuff. Tybalt. Not Tybalt. It is... Tybalt. I remembered a name. He is a Shakespeare character. But the full story. Like, I still don't know the full story of the Planeswalkers. I know how it ends now, because I came in at the ending. It's like walking in on a great movie and seeing exactly how it ends, and not realizing what you're watching, and having to go back and try to piece together what's happening from the ending. And I would love to just get more info, to be able to find a clear spot of information that really just told the story, or somebody who sat down and broke down the story from beginning to end. It'd be great. I listen to a lot of podcasts, I listen to a lot of audiobooks, because I really absorb stories really well when I'm hearing them, and able to do other things while listening. And I think it'd be awesome if I was able to hear that story. And I've looked around on YouTube, and you can find the ads and stuff like that, but nobody's really just sat down and been like, here is the story of the Spark and what led to the War of the Spark. We have the alt art on the Dino Rider, who is... I recognize her. I can almost picture her regular card even. She would be... There we go. She would be... well, this did not print very well. I'm sorry for the pause there. I believe it is Hurarli, the sun's heart. I mean, she's the one who gave you life equal to the toughness of a creature, and let creatures assign damage equal to their toughness. She's the Dino Rider. She has dinosaurs and weird techno arm crossbow things. It's fun. So yeah, shiny. Just a wolf though. Oh, there we go. Where's our Ajani? Alt art Ajani. He is a pretty kitty. I think that's actually one where I prefer the regular art. Just because I think it does him more dignity. I think it really highlights the power behind Ajani in his regular one. But they're both kind of awesome, and they do go together. So there's no... It's not like one's missing out or anything. I think it's not the best alt art. And, of course, Liliana's alt art is completely famous because the Final Fantasy guy is the same artist who did hers. Sorry if that was off camera. This is... I believe this is the forest elf, who was more nimble and quick than all the other elves combined. And not the huntress, but Arlinn. Oh no, this is Voice of the Pack. This is not who I was thinking of. Who was I thinking of? I was thinking of... I think I was thinking of Vivian then. I don't think it was Nisa. I don't know. Again, I watched some of the side things, some of the long promos, and that's about as much as I know of these characters and stuff, not having that background in it, really. What do we have? Oh, well, I already spoiled it for myself. There we go. And... a regular one, and that's that. What? Yeah. So, sorry, I keep getting interrupted opening packs, trying to talk. Round and round we go. Honestly, I haven't actually looked at much as far as the prices of these. I kind of looked at the price of the Liliana early on. Just because I was trying to figure out how I was going to get her and figure out what would be the best bet, and this was the, well, this was the funnest bet. I wouldn't say it was the best bet, but it definitely was the funnest bet for me to go by, because I do love opening packs, and I love being able to share that with people, and hopefully you've been enjoying yourself, even though I ramble on very oddly sometimes. This is the, what's-her-face, who gets to untap stuff. Mermaid Kiora. And I'm probably butchering these names all over the place. That's fine. You know what I'm talking about. Oh, well, we got the shiny, we got the god, mythic, and we got a regular him. Okay, so, I already know that I'm probably going to fill this with some public domain music. I'll do you a favor and I won't use one of the YouTube ones. I'll actually go and find old public domain music and find something that fits the theme of going through this, even if it feels a little weirdly classical. I think that's the alt art. Don't quote me on that yet, though, because I can't even remember his name. That is... There we go. Nope, that is just Dormery, and it is regular art. I don't know if I had him in a deck during any of the drafts I played. Oh, there's Dormery. He has a really cool, almost a trident, more of an ankh on the end of a sword, I guess it is. And I keep opening these off camera. Okay, what do we got? We got shiny, we got that. We have bowl. I think we're in our second bowl. Pardon me, I'm sorry. Maybe I'll glitch that out. So, the fun part of all this is I am starting with almost nothing. I have a very uncomfortable to sit at seat at a low-lying table set up in my garage to open these packs with you, to show you what I'm finding. Bam! All right, we all know him. He is not an alternate art of Karn, unfortunately, but he is Karn. Yep, if you're interested in buying a card out of this set off of me, you might want to message me. There's Karn right there. Might be in Japanese, but he's perfectly legal. Yeah, I know, I'm a dork. Anyway, so, yeah, my setup is basic. I was lucky. I mentioned this in a previous video. The previous video, since this is my second one now. Jeez. I don't have the money for this. I don't have a lot of money to get a good setup. I had the... I hope nobody wanted those. Words just escaped me. I had the camera already. So I lucked out there. I do enjoy my photography, and so the camera already had. I put down about 20 bucks on stuff to kind of go along with it. I jury-rigged a tripod so that the camera would be downward facing, which is awesome. A little unsteady. If I bump it, I have to spend another 5 minutes realigning it. And he is a double. I know that for a fact. So who's interested in that one? Okay. The mat is actually from when I used to play the World of Warcraft trading card game. It was one of the ones I won for playing the tournaments in that, because I had a bunch of people that I was going to a card store with and playing the tournaments and the World of Warcraft trading card game. It got really into it. And there we have... Oh, he's the discard guy. What's his name? I believe it's Darville. Yes, Darville. So yeah, that's where the mat came from, with the scary little pumpkin in the background. It was the least wow-ish of the ones that I have. I have not gotten a new mat yet. I will probably just get a simple plain colored one until I can get a nicer one or find one that's more magic related. Squirrels would be awesome. There's a Squirrel Knight one that I keep looking at that's way out of my budget for right now. That I definitely will be keeping my eye on for in the future in case something happens that I am able to afford it suddenly. There is another double. I believe she is up for trade now. Although I do know a couple people who are interested in these locally. I'm also going to see if they still are wanting them. And this whole pile is moving to the side because it doesn't want to stand up anymore. Don't know if you guys have ever handled other cards, but there's a slightly different feel. I don't know... They seem more slick, like there's a thicker glaze layer over them. Don't know if that's really a thing. It's just what it seems like to me. They also tend not to want to stand up on top of each other as much, and try to run away and all of that. But we are coming up on halfway through the second box. still no Liliana. My hopes and dreams are slowly squishing. There's Kaya. I know her. Now I fear that I just mispronounced her name. I'm pretty sure I didn't. Paranoia. Somebody's gonna get on me. They're gonna be like, oh, you can't even pronounce the names. Yeah, Kaya. K-A-Y-A. Kaya. Kaya. I do actually really enjoy her alt art. It kind of gives her whole mystical being, reincarnating. Oh, the Wanderer. The alt art for the Wanderer. She is pretty. There we go. Another one I had my thumb over and didn't realize I had at first. There. Maybe there's a tilt. They keep running away. I'm trying to get through these quickly. And the packs just keep running away. What do we got? We got a shiny hippo. Lands. We got another. Alright, there's 3 doubles. I mean, how awesome would a shiny Liliana be? That's my dream right here. Shiny Liliana. One foiled shiny Liliana. Not what I just pulled. Oh. There's him. Maybe I talked him up enough that somebody wants his alt art, and it's him and his puppy. Alright. I'm going to run through this quickly now. Am I talking too much? Am I talking too many circles? I mean, really let me know. There is another Ajani. That is a double of the alt art of Ajani. I find that rather fascinating, actually. Anybody else? Well, that's definitely going to sell somewhere, even if I have to go on eBay and spend a little money to make some money. Somebody's going to want that. Ooh, there we go. And who remembers her name? Said the person who didn't. Tamio, Collector of Tales. I love these alt arts, and the just goes off. Just spirals off. Over the border. That's what I'm trying to say. Spirals off over the border, becomes part of the whole scene. Not just the little tiny picture frame. Huh, I believe that's actually an alt art token. Don't quote me, but I believe it is. And there we have another double. Alright, Liliana, show yourself. Be one with the pet. Nope, we have... Oh, what was that? That was that weird creature who runs away every time you cast a spell at him. Squee would be disappointed. Speaking of Squee, Squee's toy is a creature of some sort. It smokes, it has a face, it has a tail, and it's continuously wrapped up in a ball. Does anybody know what it is? I mean, actually know what Squee's toy is. Because I don't. At all. I do believe that's an alt art, and I do believe that's the first of him I've gotten. And him would be... Samut. Tyrant Smasher. So Samut, Tyrant Smasher. His alternate art. I guess the dreads should have given it away. There's not a lot of them that actually have dreads. I think that's another that I prefer the original. I mean, alt art doesn't mean better art necessarily. Oh, okay. There we go. It is not a shiny Liliana. It is a shiny demon. Wow. That is pretty. For a second, but there are certain things in this world that probably should be sleeved immediately out of the pack, and I think that's one of them. Especially being foil. I'm going to stick him aside. That's... I'm going to have to decide if I'm going to keep him or sell him. Oh, and he comes with a second her. I say her Narset. That's what I was looking for. So we have a doubling of Narset as well. Overshadowed by the shiny Planeswalker Obnixilis. Sorry, opening off screen again. I'm really bad about that. Will be something I have to work on. Maybe a higher chair, so I'm sitting over the table instead of under the table. Will make a difference. I mean my midpoint, right? The chair I'm sitting on is a lot lower comparatively to the rest of the table. And everything is kind of low, so I'm not able to lean forward as easily and actually stay on screen the way I thought I would be able to. Live and learn, right? Like it's just a basic setup. Going to change it as I go. Alrighty, he is not the alternate art, but he is pretty. Still always going to be pretty. Nico Bolas. My man. Alright, so, and once again it stopped. I am sleeving Nico Bolas. I do believe he is one of the ones that I should be looking out for. In Japanese, Nico Bolas, anybody's interested, and that one is going to be going up for trade. Or sale. So, while I'm doing this, as part of doing this, I want to be able to continue doing it, and to be able to afford more boxes, and to be able to go forward with this. I can't do it on my job alone. And so I started a Patreon. You can go ahead and look below. It will have a little bit of info on where my Patreon is, what is going on, and the way I have it set up is it's mostly the entire box I open gets divvied out randomly to everybody who supports me. Right now I only have one supporter, so I only chose from among the rare and mythics and some of the foils to give them a chance of having something to thank them. And I'll probably continue doing that for a while until I am able to get enough supporters that that's no longer feasible. But there's still always a chance, and that whole box that I opened for the Patreons, it doesn't go on YouTube immediately. It stays with them for a little while before that. It's a box opening just for them. Everybody gets a piece of the box that's opened. I eventually get to update my equipment. I get to open more boxes. Because the more supporters, the more boxes I can afford to open. And I can just go, and it can be fun. And we can open boxes together, continue doing all this. Quid pro quo, as they try to say. Oh, yeah, that was pretentious. I'm sorry. But please, go check out my Patreon, see if you want to support me. I'm not asking a lot. Just $1 a month is even enough to be a part of it. Or if you just want to be like, hey, here's a bunch of money. Go for it. I am open to that. I will probably put my PayPal link down below if you want to go do that one. Not expecting it. You know I'm not expecting it. Also need to work on, I say it a lot apparently. So I believe that is commence the endgame? I might be wrong, but I think it's commenced the endgame, because that looks like Nico Bolas' giant egg that he keeps between his horns. Or is that commenced the endgame? Now I don't remember. See, this is why I said I'm not going through all the cards. I can't remember what the name of any of the cards are. And we have Spark Double, one of the wonderful ones to have with Planeswalker because it removes Legendary. Therefore, you can have multiple copies of anything on the board, and if you have multiple copies of an Ajani, Ajani puts counters on every Planeswalker. The other Ajani helps you gain life. It was a nice combo when I had it out. Yeah. We got that Nicol Bolas, and everything seems to have just kind of dried up. Yeah, it is what it is. If I don't get a Liliana, maybe somebody will want to trade their Liliana for some of the stuff that they saw here and here. And here, and here, and over here in the comments. Well, there's that. Okay. Don't remember if we got him yet or not. Does anybody remember? Bueller? Holy cow. No. Alright, so we have a new Planeswalker that I haven't gotten before in the alternate art. And he is Donvin. Somehow I always mix him up with Teferi in my head. Maybe it's just because they're both blue and white, and both tall and skinny. Or they both constantly have magic coming out of their hands in circles. Not quite sure why. I know they're different, but somehow I keep mixing their powers up, I think was what it is. I think he should have Teferi, and Teferi should have his just by art and power, even though that's not how it really works. Down to 6, 7, 9 packs, it looks like. There's the Jace. Fortunately, it is not the alt art Jace. It's Jace nonetheless. One of the oldest planeswalkers in the story that I don't actually know. Sorry. Runaway cards. All running away. There we go. I'm going to move these over here and start a new pile, because things are getting dangerous over there. Jace is actually one that I think the regular art fits the styles that they were trying to do with the alt art more than any of the others. There we go. That's a familiar card from early on, and it's shiny. Wow. Sorry, I'm being distracted by art. I hadn't really paid attention to that one. That is the alt art of Domri. I think it is much better, personally, than the other one. It is a very intense art of Domri. There we go. One more alt art, and I said I was putting these down here because that's about to fall. So, Nicol Bolas, not too bad. For 2 boxes, though, I think you're a little shy on what should be coming out, but hey, that's just me. Few packs left. What do we got going? I don't know. How many of you think before you watch the rest of this that I'm going to pull my Lily? Do you think she's going to come out? I hope so. I would really like to see my Liliana. Well, there's another alt art. That looks like a very angry woman. Because it is Vraska, who is all kinds of poisonous and assassiny. So, yes, I think she qualifies as angry. Not as women are angry, but that is an angry woman. Stay away. She will poison you. A lot. Sorry. just a regular Planeswalker. 5 packs. Will he get his Lily? Sorry, I'm getting excited now. I wanna see my Lily. Let's see if I get her. You should see the pile of wrappers to the side right now. It's kind of... Well, there's a regular Chandra. Yeah, I like her alt art better. So much better. Yeah, anybody looking for a Chandra, let me know. It might be in Japanese, but it's a Chandra. I will ship internationally too, if anybody's really desperate to get one of these. We know that's a double. You pay shipping. I'm not going to. I will say though that I do prefer the idea of shipping in bubble envelopes at the cheap end and shipping in the actual flat rate boxes. For anything of value. I know some people think everything's fine in a bubble mailer or a PWE or whatever it is with a hard case, but I've seen some really bad stuff happen to mail that way. I was lucky once upon a time ordering something that way, and the entire envelope got ripped up and damaged, and something got punctured through it, and it barely missed the card. You could see where it like clipped the plastic on the hard case that was put in there. One of these things just clipped right through the edge of it, barely missing the card. I was really creeped out, actually. It was dual land, and they just mailed it that way, and they charged me $3 to mail it that way. I was really... that was like 2012. I don't remember if we have her alt art or not. Oh, no, she's right there, up for grabs. My favorite old lady. Planeswalker doesn't get enough. Alright, last one. Last one. Do we get the Lily? No Liliana. But that is Vivian? Nisa. That is Nisa. Well, we end on a Nisa, and that is what we have there. Again, go ahead and check out my Patreon, other information below. Message me, leave a comment or something. If you're interested in any of these, I will definitely be putting a lot of them up for sale. If you're interested in the bulk of the commons, even the uncommons, let me know. We'll work something out, figure it out. I definitely don't want to hold on to these. Collecting the Japanese version over the American version isn't really going to do it for me. But collecting the alt art ones definitely is. And I think we have a ways to go. I might look at getting another box or two and seeing what I can pull. See if we can get any more shiny ones. Alright, thank you for watching. This is Bible's mana short, because I'm always short on mana. Sorry, that was bad. Have a good day.